Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Quasar, and welcome back to another live stream. Almost forgot what day it was. As you can see, new amazing hair done today. I'm definitely going to shave this after today, but we were going to go bald, as I had said before, but this was recommended to me by Haley's comment. So I thought it was a good look. Thought I'd try it out, you know. Let me just change that real quick. Make sure that's all good. Looking great. Sounding great. Everything's coming through. We're going to start off with a hello, Mooney. Welcome in. We're going to start off with a creepypasta rating. Something pretty simple. And then a reaction to a video that the girl with the microphone actually reacted to prior. She did a reaction to this thing. It must have just been popping up on everybody's homepage. But it is, we're going to be reading the Smiling Man Creepypasta, but the video we're going to be reacting to is man confesses to killing his parents during news interview, arrested in front of station. So I thought that would be interesting to react to. I had my own thoughts on that, so I thought that would be good. Oh god, what? You don't like the hair? You don't think it looks great? We're gonna, like I said, I'm gonna actually get rid of this because I was fine going to the store with the double mohawk, but when it's not spiked up and I basically look like... Oh, what is it called? Was it a... Oh, what was it called? I don't even know what to call it. Mustache hair. Because I don't think it was a... Was it a mugshot? Oh, it was a mugshot. It looked kind of like this, just with a bigger gap in the middle. For some reason, I was thinking it wasn't a mugshot. This is how it looks when it's like wet or not spiked up. Just imagine the direction it's going right now, but down. It just looks like bull horns and I can't see it any other way. Hey, it is what it is. I was thinking, honestly, the way I kind of did them made me think of like ram horns, because if they were longer, they'd probably grow like that. They'd probably round off. Looking horny AF, Captain. That's so true. I have never actually done my head this bald. My head's just so white, it's hard to tell, but I actually did do it pretty smooth. It's hard to get like an actual clean shave. It really is. I've never tried before, but trying to get an actual clean shave is nearly impossible, I feel like, when you have a lot of hair. And I was using a good razor. Fresh one. But yes, we're going to do a creepypasta reading because I love doing that. This one's actually pretty short, and then we're going to react to that video. Thanks to all the regular schmegulas stopping in. Really do appreciate it. Sorry, just making sure everything's set up right. Don't want the music to be too loud while I do the reading. But let's get into it. This is The Smiling Man. The Smiling Man. About 5 years ago, I lived downtown in a major city in the US. I've always been a night person, so I would often find myself bored after my roommate, who was decidedly not a night person, went to sleep. To pass the time, I used to go on long walks and spend the time thinking. I spent 4 years like that, walking alone at night and never once had a reason to feel afraid. I always used to joke with my roommate that even the drug dealers in the city were polite. But all that changed in just a few minutes of one evening. It was a Wednesday. Somewhere between 1 and 2 in the morning, and I was walking near a police station, or I was walking near a police-patrolled park quite a ways away from my apartment. It was quiet even for a weekend, or it was quiet even for a weeknight, with very little traffic and almost no one on foot. The park, as it was most nights, was completely empty. I turned down a short side street in order to loop back to my apartment when I first noticed him. At the far end of the street, on my side, was the silhouette of a man dancing. It was a strange dance, similar to a waltz, but he finished each box with an odd forward stride. I guess you could say he was dance walking, headed straight for me. Deciding he was probably drunk, I stepped as close as I could to the road to give him the majority of the sidewalk to pass me by. The closer he got, the more I realized how gracefully he was moving. He was very tall and lanky and wearing an old suit. He danced closer still, until I could make out his face. His eyes were open, wide and wild, head tilted back slightly, looking off at the sky. His mouth was formed in a painfully wide cartoon of a smile. Between the eyes and the smile, I decided to cross the street before he danced any closer. The hair's wild. You're the one who recommended it, right? But sorry, let me continue. Threw off the immersion. I took my eyes off of him to cross the empty street. As I reached the other side, I glanced back, and then stopped dead in my tracks. He had stopped dancing and was standing with one foot in the street, perfectly parallel to me. He was facing me, but still looking skyward, smile still wide on his lips. I was completely and utterly unnerved by this. I started walking again, but kept my eyes on the man. He didn't move. Once I had put about half a block between us, I turned away from him for a moment and watched the sidewalk in front of me. The street ahead of me was completely empty. Still unnerved, I looked back to where he had been standing to find him gone. For the briefest of moments, I felt relieved until I noticed him. He had crossed the street and was now slightly crouched down. I couldn't tell for sure due to the distance and the shadows, but I was certain he was facing me. I had looked away from him for no more than 10 seconds, so it was clear that he had moved fast. I was so shocked that I stood there for some time staring at him, and then he started moving towards me again. He took giant, exaggerated, tiptoed steps, as if he were a cartoon character sneaking up on someone. Except he was moving very, very quickly. I'd like to say at this point I ran away or pulled out my pepper spray or my cell phone or anything at all, but I didn't. I just stood there, completely frozen, as the smiling man crept toward me. And then he stopped again, about a car length away from me, still smiling his smile, still looking to the sky. When I finally found my voice, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What I meant to ask was, "What do you want?" in an angry, commanding tone. What came out was a whimper. "What?" Regardless of whether or not humans can smell fear, they can certainly hear it. I heard it in my own voice, and that only made me more afraid. But he didn't react to it at all. He just stood there, smiling. And then, after what felt like forever, he turned around, very slowly, and started dance-walking away. Just like that. Not wanting to turn my back on him again, I just watched him go, until he was far enough away to almost be out of sight. And then I realized something. He wasn't moving away anymore. Nor was he dancing. I watched in horror as the distant shape of him grew larger and larger. He was coming back my way. And this time, he was running. I ran too. I ran until I was off of the side road and back onto a better lit road with sparse traffic. Looking behind me then, he was nowhere to be found. The rest of the way home, I kept glancing over my shoulder, always expecting to see that stupid smile, but he was never there. I lived in that city for 6 months after that night, and I never went out for another walk. There was something about his face that always haunted me. He didn't look drunk. He didn't look high. He looked completely and utterly insane. And that's a very, very scary thing to see. This is the type of haircut that makes a baby cry. So true. No, and that's the other reason I have to see it, or I have to shave it, because we're going to definitely see my niece before Halloween, or on Halloween. So I'm like, I can't be having crazy hair for Halloween. And she hasn't even seen me. I don't think she's ever seen me with a bald head before. Who knows if she's even seen a bald person before. How's my coccyx? My tailbone actually feels a lot better than it did. I'm sitting on a pillow right now. I don't have a donut pillow because I'm not bougie. We're just sitting on whatever pillow I had. But it was honestly, I was skating. And it was a bad decision to skate when it was raining. Literally skating on my board, turning front side. And as I'm turning front side, my board just goes. And I just fell. These are my legs. Straight on my butt. I swear I fell so hard it sounded like a fishbowl for a minute. I thought I was gonna pass out. Like, my vision didn't go blurry or anything, but it literally like fucked up my hearing. And I was like, what's going on? And I sat down, grabbed my board, and I sat down, and I was like, damn. And I skated for a little bit longer, but then I was like, I don't want to slip anymore, so I went home. And it was hurting a lot yesterday, but it's feeling a lot better today, so I don't think I actually like fractured anything. I definitely just bruised it, and I'm thinking it was just a light bruise, which is blessed. Blessed be. What the fuck happened? You look like White Satan. Broke my ass, turned me crazy. Captain, I made a voodoo doll of you. Can you feel him? I'm sucking your coccyx. Stat. No, can't feel it yet. Keep going. Keep trying. Bash me against something. See if that works. If someone actually was like, I made a voodoo doll of you, and trying to like be like angry about it, I'd be like, cut its head off. Let's see what happens. If I die, cool. I'll come back to you. My spirit is stronger than yours. Sorry about your ass, thanks. Broke my butt. I've just been trying to get back into skating. I'm only 24. I don't want to feel like an unk just yet. I haven't skated in a while. I've just started working out again, and I'm like, I should start skating again to get my cardio back up. Been living a bit sedentary, so you know, we're trying to get back into it, back into the groove. Ooh, speaking of groove, let's move on. I am actually going to stop this music now, though. Because like I said, this is going to be a pretty short stream. We have this video. It's 32 minutes, so we'll see how long I end up making this in the reaction. Can you read Death Trumpet for me? Oh, let me read it right now. I got you. Death Trumpet Creepypasta. Is it really this short? God damn it. You literally turned that into like a 5-minute bit. Yeah, I can read this for you right now. Should I pull it up? I'm gonna literally pull it up so all of you can see what Alex is laughing so hard at. This is it. This is the Death Trumpet. This is what the trumpet looked like. Yesterday, I bought a trumpet off of eBay for $45. When it arrived at my house, It was a gold trumpet, which was word 'cause trumpets are usually silver. When I took out te trumpet, it cummed with blood red valve oil and an accorded mouthpiece. I put the blood red valve all into my trumpet, and when I play it, it spurts blood all over my wall. I went to sleep, and then I had a nightmare about a trumpet eating me alive. When I woke up, a trumpet was sitting next to my death trumpet. I went to the bathroom to hide and take a big nasty shit. The trumpet and trombone followed me, and then they killed me. The trombone used its slide to fuck me into asshole, and the trumpet suffocated me. I dead end 'cause that's how I wrote Test Creepypasta. The end. What is this accent? It was a ambiguous accent, internet voice. Oh, I didn't see the text, my bad. You just thought I was being weirdly racist and you couldn't even figure out how? You're like, I don't know who you're being offensive to, but this can't be right. But thank you for that, Alex. I appreciate it. So spoopy. But yes, this is some true crimey style stuff. Some people have had some different opinions on it. I think that this is very insane, and I think that what he's actually saying is an interesting discussion, and this happening almost brings the discussion more into like the public eye, but almost for in the worst way possible. Because I disagree wholly with what he did specifically, because this dude is definitely just mentally unwell. But what he begins talking about, we'll get into it in more detail, but what he starts talking about is like, what do they call it? Like state-assisted suicide? Because they do it, don't they do it in Canada? Isn't that something they do in Canada? Yeah, medical assistance in dying, MAID. Broke my ass, grew devil horns. That's literally what happened. Yeah, you can tell just by looking at him that he killed a person or two. I'm surprised because it seems like they alerted the authorities and everything and had like the full, like they had it all ready. I'm surprised the police allowed them to do this interview and didn't just arrest him immediately. Give us a good evil laugh. Moo ha 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 ha. I'm just too much of a good old boy. It's hard to do. Moo ha moo ha 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 ha. Oh 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 oh. Hoo 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 hoo, hee 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 hee. Laugh like the Joker. Ah! Ah! I can't do a Joker laugh. How does a Joker laugh? Hee 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 hee. Hoo. Yeah, that's the thing. It is like a super difficult situation and topic because like obviously it isn't considered medical. I guess it is medical assistance to dying, but it's like pulling the plug in a certain respect because you can keep somebody in this limbo state. They let the police in through a 32-minute maze. They had them in like a mirror maze. They were walking around like, oh, Jim, that's you. I thought you were me. It's this one's glass. Come around. Yeah, Jared Leto Joker. Can't even do that one. Yeah, bro did DIY made. That's literally what it is. Like, and that's why it's like it's fucked up because we also like we need better assistance for people that need like older people that need medical services because it shouldn't be put in the hands of somebody like this who is clearly mentally unwell and wasn't fit to take care of his parents in the first place. But let's get into it.
All right, Lawrence, well, thanks for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it. We'll get to the statement, but first we want to talk about the more recent event, actually the prior events and now the more recent events. Take me back to the summer of 2017. What happened to your parents?
My mother wrote me a note, which the police must have now, describing her walking across Whitehall Road. I'm not Whitehall, Wolf Road, and she fell down on her face.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's super quiet. I'm so sorry. Let me restart it from the beginning. It was super quiet for you guys. My mom's hospice care nurse described that option to us, and it was so horrifying we didn't give it any thought. Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, it really does depend on, like, the circumstances in which the person is in. Because clearly, like, just being in a depressive mood shouldn't be enough to be considered, because he starts to outline like the ways in which his parents were acting, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they were looking to that it was like, I don't even know what you would consider it, because it's like they didn't seem to have the medical necessity for it, or like if they did have the want for it, it was probably because of their lack of like medical care that they got, and wasn't like a genuine just unhappiness with life. But I don't know. It is definitely a difficult conversation.
All right, Lawrence, well, thanks for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it. We'll get to the statement, but first we want to talk about the more recent event, actually the prior events and now the more recent events. Take me back to the summer of 2017. What happened to your parents?
My mother wrote me a note, which the police must have now, describing her walking across Whitehall Road. I'm not Whitehall, Wolf Road, and she fell down on her face. And she had, when I saw her a week or so later, yellow and green, black and blue marks from this. And she wrote that down, and that was a situation that became a problem, because when elderly start to fall down, the time comes that they start to, beginning of the end. And my father also had cataract surgery, and he lost his vision to double vision, so he couldn't be he couldn't drive. So they were losing their independence and so forth.
That's what it is. Because there's physician-assisted suicide or medical-assisted death. Is that really what it is? Medical assistance in dying. It's so long. They didn't want to call it MAD, that's why. Medically assisted death. They didn't want to call it MAD because that's crazy. But then there's also voluntary euthanasia. Euthanasia. It doesn't seem like voluntary euthanasia is illegal in most places. Seems to be illegal. It's illegal in Canada, so it is legal in Canada. That's the one I was trying to remember. Yeah, is the purposeful ending of a person's life at their request in order to relieve them of suffering. Voluntary euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide have been the focus of intense debate in the 21st century surrounding the idea of right to die. Some forms of voluntary euthanasia are legal in Australia, Belgium, Canada, Colombia, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, New Zealand, and Spain. Crazy. Because yeah, I don't know if voluntary euthanasia should be illegal. Seems a little far. See, but then again, it's like if suicide's already legal, right? Like I mean, it's hard to like kind of legislate that, I guess, because it is legal in most places, it seems. Yeah, any Northerners in chat? Spell ICUP? Why? ICUP. I don't get it. Snapple.
And my mother had a brother who had Alzheimer's, and my father had a sister who had Alzheimer's. They were both in nursing homes. My mother had a second sister who also.
I remember Dr. Kevorkian was providing assisted suicide services illegally, and I believe was prosecuted. Yeah, Dr. Kevorkian. Everyone remembers that name because it sounds like literally like a horror movie villain. He died in June 2011. He assisted at least 130 patients to that end. He looks like the Grim Reaper.
Also had Alzheimer's, and they put you in a bed, they put catheters into you, they rip your teeth out to try to keep you, the whole 9 yards. So this is in the back of my mind.
So you didn't want to see them deteriorate and go through that, did you?
And I'll mention, the police know about my sister and having to see my sister die from cancer. I was 16, she was 14, go through 9 months or so of, the agony of a cancer patient.
Mm-hmm. So did you kill your parents as a mercy killing to put them out of their misery? You can be honest with us.
I know. I'll leave that for the statement that I put on your website.
The statement doesn't mention that.
I know,
The statement
I
does
know.
not mention that.
Right.
I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What did you do to your parents?
I buried them in their property.
You buried them in the backyard of that house in Albany.
Right.
At what point did they become deceased?
I need to see a calendar
That's just like a weird. I when I first saw this, I didn't understand that statement. He would need to see a calendar, so I guess he's saying like he remembers the day of the week, but doesn't necessarily remember what day it was. I'm guessing that's what he means. But that's such like a odd way to remember it when it's been years.
sometime August 2017.
And did they die at your hand? That's the question.
Right. I'll have to leave it for that statement.
But that's not in the statement, and I think
Right.
it's important for
I was a preteen, young teen when that was going on, and as a kid I was like, why is it illegal? They obviously want to die enough to seek medical help to do it. I think one of the aspects that needs to be considered when thinking about that too is when you create a market for it in some regard, it's like those doctors that do it need to get paid, and if they're getting paid like, you know, basically like commissioned by the like person that dies, of course they're going to be trying to up those numbers more and more. So and that's like obviously a nihilistic sense. Like some people probably, like maybe Kevorkian truly saw himself as a true altruist, like this guy does, where he sees it as, I'm saving these people from their misery of existence. But that doesn't give you the right to profiteer from it, even if you are justifiably doing something. Because I don't know, that's definitely another aspect to look into it. If I don't think you should necessarily be on the side of voluntary euthanasia, but I could understand the perspective for sure.
People to know what happened to your parents.
Right.
They were your parents. You loved them. They were deteriorating. What did you do?
I will.
Don't tell me you're going to leave it to the statement, because it's not in the statement.
I know.
What did you do to your parents?
No, as an adult, I definitely see the issues with it. No, but that's what I mean, is I just think that, let's get up those numbers. No, like legitimately, I think that it's like everybody's first thought, though, is like, everybody that isn't like a religious person or so on, like they kind of just think, oh, well, if somebody wants it, like doesn't want to live anymore, okay, like let that be their decision. It seems like nihilistic and terrible on some level, but I don't know, is it selfish and are you more selfish to want somebody there for your own benefit rather than caring about what their actual feelings are? And obviously there's ways out of depression and stuff, but it's always about the means to those ends. If you don't have the means, then there's other ends that seem available, and that's kind of where the issue comes from, because I don't think that people that would have the available medical services would be as quick to jump to something like MAID or voluntary euthanasia or other things, like if their needs were being met. Can you imagine an ad for it? Are you feeling sad? Are you ready for the Black Abyss? Well, call Dr. Kevorkian today.
My goal is for the American people to recognize that there's 40 million boomers. They're all going to go through the same kind of problems. It affects all of us, and we need to widen up the law so that people can deal with these kind of problems.
I find this to be a weird statement because, like we're saying, MAID is legal here. Voluntary euthanasia isn't, but it almost seems like he's saying that he wants it specifically for home use, like for people at home to be like, yeah, so I cut my dad's head off because he asked me to. What's the problem? Like what?
A humane way, whatever way that people can deal with. And I did my duty to my parents.
So you ended their lives.
I won't.
You're saying that without actually saying that word. I want to hear you say.
He really wants this exclusive. He's like, come on, man, say it. Are neither of them wearing socks? I just realized. Is neither one of them wearing socks?
Say that word. You
Yes.
ended their lives.
I have to
give them mercy. You're saying.
I have to plead my Fifth Amendment rights until I can disclose it with my statement there.
Did you have any concern that whatever you did was wrong?
I would never have done such a thing if I ever did it, knowing it's wrong.
So you believe what you did was right. You believe taking your parents' lives was the right thing to do for their sake.
If I did it, absolutely that.
But you did do it. You're saying to us that you did it.
There's a statement there that we'll deal with more later, if you want to know.
Lawrence, I appreciate that, and we'll talk about your statement, but show me where in this statement it says that you killed your parents. It doesn't. It doesn't talk
Right.
about the fate of your parents here. You
Right.
keep talking about the statement, answering my question.
Just scrolling on Instagram and you get an ad. Turn doom scrolling to, take it to a whole new level. I don't know if I can deal with this. I need to get some better padding for my... Oh no, it left a little dent in my head. I need better padding for my headphones. Gotta wear it like this so it's not actually resting on my head. There we go.
Question, but the statement does not answer my question. It's the question people want to know. And I think they need to hear it from you.
Yes, there's time for that.
And I think now's the time. Did you kill your parents to put them out of their misery?
My concern for their misery was paramount. It was a huge burden.
When he said paramount, for some reason the way he said it reminded me of the manager of the Jesus Twins. Because he said,
Yes. Oh, this is the manager of the Jesus Twins, or the ex-manager.
Manager of the Jesus Twins.
Your ex, right?
I am the ex-manager. Is this Howard and Robin?
he says
Yeah.
paramount.
Howard, how you doing?
What does he know?
Listen, I just want to say right off the bat that it was an absolute pleasure being on your show. The 2 live visits in New York went very well.
There's like a clip of him being like, their paramount value.
Have to face this coming up.
Not literally like a baby soft spot. It went in so quickly. I need to go do head training or drink more water or something. What's going on?
this is a horrible situation.
Sure. So you alleviated that burden.
You're a good questioner. I have to protect my Fifth Amendment rights on this until the right time.
I'm not an attorney. I'm
Right.
not an officer of the law. You know, you don't have to say that to me.
Yes, but I mean, whatever I say here is going to be held against me elsewhere, right?
Of course, but you probably answer to a higher authority anyway in the long run. So I think you can tell us what happened. Did you kill your parents together at the same time in the same place? What method did you use?
All of that, all that kind of stuff I would answer later with that deal with the American people. But I'm not going to speak about such things.
This point was interesting because I feel like what he's trying to get at is that he's willing to talk about it once his statements come out and he is able to see the reaction from the American people. If there's a lot of people that are like, no, bro, we get it. We get that your parents want, that you just had to do it. We understand. Come on. And then he'll give us a better explanation of it. I've seen bald streamers get permanent dents from their headset. Yeah. Can't be doing that. I have a decently shaped head. We got to keep it that way. Can't be caving it in just yet.
Like that.
But you have a chance to tell the American people right now.
I want their feedback on my statement.
Maybe he can become a conehead. Little Captain Quasar fun fact. When I was born, when some babies are so large when coming out that when they grab them, their heads look like a cone. I was one of those babies. I was 9 pounds, 8 ounces, and 22 inches long. And my head was shaped like a cone, and my dad said it freaked him out. He was like, whoa, because my brother was a C-section. So he didn't have to see like anything like this. So I was the first natural birth. And my dad said he asked the doctor, is his head going to look like that? Is his head going to go back? And they were like, yeah, it's fine. This just happens. But he said I literally looked like the Coneheads from that movie. I know it's not uncommon for babies to have like a bit of deformation in their head because their heads are so soft. But my dad said it was legit like Coneheads. It was pretty bad, which is kind of funny. I'm just glad I have hair because based on how my head feels to me, it feels wonky as hell. See, I was kind of like fearful, but after it was done, I was like, okay. The only problem now is it's not super smooth. I can tell that it's going to keep growing in super quick, so I'm going to need to keep like razoring it daily to keep doing a couple haircuts or do a couple costumes, because I basically need to keep it as short as possible for the 31st. So I have 3 weeks that I have to keep it shaved. Then I'm going to let my hair grow out for a bit. I was really wanting to do this too because I thought I haven't. My hair always grows in weird patterns and stuff, so I thought giving it a full reset might be nice. Really train it from square one. My son had a cone head. He was under 8 pounds, but he had a massive head. He's turning 18 soon, and he has grown into his head. That's good. Don't want to be walking around like a bobblehead. Walking around like a Bitmoji.
Then I can believe that I can tell the truth uninhibited.
You don't think you're going to get better feedback if you're honest with them? And
see, I think that he missed the point, which is what I was saying, which is he wants the feedback to, like, everybody knows that he killed them. He's not going to divulge in the ways that he did it until he can get some kind of reassurance that people aren't going to look at him as an evil person, because he wants to be seen as somebody who is just doing something because of his beliefs.
And tell us what happened.
I put things in the right order. They have to be in the right order. But it's very important that, insofar as exculpatory material, the police have that statement from my mother regarding what happened to her crossing the street at Wolf Road, falling down.
Right.
And she also had a problem with, she mentioned she was getting lines in her eyes for some reason. And there was no, I don't know what that would be.
That was the prelude that helped set things in motion, you're saying.
That was the...
That started your parents' downhill trend, health-wise.
Yes, but also the letter from her to me said, do something. or this you need to know this in a way that was,
Your parents asked you to kill them or to take their lives in a merciful fashion?
I think they want me to take.
I'm sorry, just the way that this interviewer is conducting himself to try and get this guy to answer him. I don't think he understands that he is coming off as abrasive and not as... Because, like, if you want this guy to open up, I think the best way to do it is to almost appear as if you're on his side and just trying to get more information about his belief system or something. But he's really just trying to beat it out of him a little.
Responsibility for things.
They asked you to take their lives, to do what they couldn't do?
Implicitly, but not explicitly.
So you were just granting their wishes?
My mother,
I think that's like the most important part, though, is he said that they didn't explicitly ask for it, they implicitly asked for it, which means he was just taking the small little little statements that they've made as like, you know, oh, I can't deal with this anymore, I can't deal with this pain, my body's aching every day, saying things like that, and then like extrapolating from that they don't want to live anymore, which again is like which also goes against all of the like obviously Maid sometimes comes to like family members and stuff too that need to make the decision, but generally speaking you'd have some say in it yourself, and as you know, adults that were still alive and functioning, they didn't explicitly ask for anything, and he just took the, you know, he just wanted to show his gumption, I guess. If there was an agreement, they would document it so thoroughly for legal reasons. So presumptuous of him.
my sister died, my mother would give me these do not resuscitate things every few months, and she wanted to die given her grief for my sister, her daughter.
And you love your parents and you wanted to honor their wishes.
You know, there's something special about our family that we can somehow read each other's minds, and so being things explicit isn't necessarily.
Now he's talking about reading minds. Okay, this guy is off his rocker.
You know, I could complete my grandmother's sentences for her, and she would say, "Well, you know." So I mean, the context of all this became to bear on me.
Did one parent, did your mom or your dad more so than the other, ask you to take their lives?
They didn't explicitly say that, but they.
This would be an interesting, like, kind of angle to ask from, though. Would you say, even though they didn't explicitly ask and they implicitly asked, was there one over the other that was more heavy in their implications towards you? And did you feel that if one was going to want to go, the other would have to as well, so that they would not have to deal with being lonesome? Would you have done the deed on just one and not the other? Done the deed sounds even worse than just saying killed them. Would you have killed one and not the other had they had asked for that specifically? And what level of implication do you find necessary? Because you're talking about making it legislation. You're talking about bringing it to law. At what level of implication should somebody else be able to take the right into their own hands and take their parents out? It was just vibes. I was just feeling it. I was like, Mom. And she said, yeah. And then at that moment I knew.
Made it clear that they were going downhill.
When it actually happened, when your parents died, did they know it was happening to them?
Oh, yeah.
And they knew it was at your hand?
Well, yes, no one else's.
Right. So they realized what you were doing to them as it happened.
Yes.
They knew that this was it for them, that they were perishing at your hand.
Yes. And
See, bro, like you have 20 more minutes. You're trying to jump into it immediately. You don't need to do that. Ask him about why he did this. Ask him about what the purpose of this was. What was the actual like reasoning for it? Did he feel like because like the questions to ask to start isn't about the murder. It's about his own life. Did you feel like the caring for your parents took took up personal time that you could have allocated elsewhere? Was there any grievances that you held with your parents, or did you truly just feel like you were the one that cared for them the most, even outside of their doctors and even their own best interests at times? Or you had their own best interests at times, even beyond their own wants and wishes.
So quick.
How did you do it?
Yeah, I can't talk about that.
Well, you've just told us that
Right.
it was at your hand.
Right.
Were there drugs involved? Was
no.
there a suffocation? You suffocated them?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, terrible way to do it. I mean, I don't know what would be a good way to do it, but that's pretty like suffocation. He said they knew that it was him too, which means they would have been awake, which feels like that would have taken at least a minute or two, right? Yikes.
You suffocated your parents.
Yeah.
That was the best way to take their lives, through suffocation.
Basically.
Which parent did you suffocate first?
My father, and after he died, my mother put her.
Honestly, this interviewer really is lucky that this guy is just so willing to spill the beans, because like I'm saying, he is not asking the right questions as how to like as a professional interviewer, he should ask him if he has ghost stories, or ask him who his favorite crew member is before getting into the nitty gritty. But that's not. But like genuinely though, you do need a bit of an icebreaker, and not even just in the sense of to get his like nerves off, but also to break down the actual like an understanding of why he did this, not just what he did, because it's not like they'll be able to figure it out. I like. That part, I imagine, won't be too. I really am interested in the psychology of this whole thing, because this guy does seem definitely off his rocker. But it is interesting when you see people that truly believe that they are in the right and trying to understand the ins and outs, I guess. Because I don't want to act like it's like a like he's a benefit to society or something. That's not what I'm trying to say. But merely that the minds of the many are quite bizarre.
Head on his chest, and
I'd really like to know which way this guy wipes. That'd be a good question to ask him.
she was there for a few hours, and then I finished her.
And then what did you do? Did you bury them immediately?
No. I didn't know what to do after that. I was thinking what to do. It took me several days to realize I can't do this, I can't do that. Just bury them on the property, and it was wide open, sunlight. I remember my sister, she received either a gift of a lamb, or a lamb was given to her upon her funeral, but that lamb showed up, and I put it on my mother's grave, and the police must have that now too.
You call it a grave? You bury them in the backyard? You see it as a grave?
Well, I bury them, and I put
That's
a
a we-
thing around my mother's
Again, that
grave.
was kind of a weird question. You see it as their grave. I mean, of course he does. I mean, even if it's not an official resting spot or whatever, it is their grave. Even like, am I alone here? I feel like that was a weird question to ask. Of course, and of course he sees it as their grave. His whole thing was that he was doing, we've kind of gotten to the point where we understand that he thinks he was doing them a favor in some regard. Come on, give me the job at ABC6. Don't you think I'll do great?
And with and I planted a peach tree next to her, and I put that there.
What did you think as you were doing it? As you were taking their lives? What was going through your head?
Not thoughts, action. Make sure it's done, and not.
Again, faulty question. What were you thinking in the moments that led up to that action? That morning when you woke up, did it just like dawn on you that today is the day, or did you had you planned this out prior? Was there a final gesture that was made that was implicit that you recognized as the final calling that you needed to follow through on this action? But no, how did you feel in the moment? Did you love it? Did you get filled with rage? Were you thinking about all the times that mommy yelled at you? Huh? Did you feel like a big tough guy, like a big strong man, huh?
Not fool around, not make a mistake. But, I'm sure the police are going to say what an incompetent idiot I am on that. But,
Did they both pass away peacefully? Did they struggle as you did?
I guess it'd be interesting to see if he thinks that, but he suffocated them. Maybe he, because he would have said strangulation or something. Because I'm thinking asphyxiation. He could have done it with a rope or something, I guess. But I'm imagining you know what I mean. He used something and smothered them. That's kind of what you would. That's what you would kind of assume. So I'm a little lost.
I would say the last minute, no.
Yeah, probably not.
But they're, I think my father died very quickly, surprisingly quickly. That shocked me. And then, the part with my mother, went quickly too.
Did you realize what you were doing, as righteous as you may have?
You're not honing in on the right points, bro. Listen to what he said.
Part with my mother, that shocked me. Surprisingly quickly. That shocked me.
His father died surprisingly quickly.
Did you realize what you were doing as...
His father died surprisingly quickly. Did you realize what you were doing in the moment? The question to ask after, my father died surprisingly quickly, but you said that they implicitly were asking for this. What made you, what do you mean he died quicker? Did you expect him to struggle? Did you expect him to just last longer? You said that they were at this point in their life where they had deteriorated so far. Wouldn't you expect them to kind of pass quickly in these instances? But no, we're just moving along. That's what I'm saying, is surprisingly quickly, it implies that he had the thought of his father either fighting back or not being as ill as he was first leading on, maybe. And that's what I'm asking, is I'm wondering if one parent, maybe his mother was kind of saying these things a little more, and he decided to kill both of them because of that. Yeah, no follow-up, just moving on.
Quickly too.
Did you realize what you were doing, as righteous as you may have thought it was illegal? And
oh yeah.
Yeah, I want to learn more about his mind reading powers. Yeah, he kind of brushed over that too.
You knew you were breaking the law. You knew you were...
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have to squeeze the law to fit the humans, not us, the humans to fit the law. And we have 40 million boomers. They're all going to suffer a horrible death, typically.
See, I do think it is an interesting question, right? Because we are trying to extend people's lives. That has been the advancement of science and medicine has been to extend people's lives. But a lot of the time, the extension of these lives aren't a valuable living experience. And it comes to question whether or not those those types of extensions are necessary. Like, should you be given medication or doing anything like that to like an 80, 90-year-old? Let them kind of wean off towards the end, maybe even before that point, because there just becomes a point where the deterioration, it would kind of need to be negated before you get to that point, rather than trying to do things to fix it after it's happened. Because I don't know what it wasn't the old, life expectancy like 40. That was a long time ago, but you get what I'm saying. We're definitely living a lot longer lives, and at what point does your life become less worth it for yourself even? Fuck that! I don't want to be a part of this hellscape any longer than my natural lifespan requires. And that's kind of the point I'm making, right? Because it is interesting when you talk about, especially like the hyper religious and stuff like that, because like we do everything in our power to fight nature or fight God or whatever, in an attempt to survive, our bodies, our organs, the things that are failing us, ways to adjust our teeth and our other things that can rot out our mouths and destroy your jaws. It's interesting. It is interesting. I'm willing to die out. I don't want to let it happen, though. That's the thing. Is I don't want to allow my body to just degrade, and that's why I'm trying to do the preventative measures now, because like I said, I've been doing more exercise and I've been doing my cardio. I tried to skate. I ate shit, hurt my butt, but things are looking up. I was thinking about making I have this video concept of something that I'm trying to work on, but I think I need to get farther along first. You'll see what I mean. But I was also thinking of maybe just doing it in like a podcasty form, but we'll see. I got to figure it out.
My mother always if somebody died in their home, she would say, "Great, the person died with their boots on," instead of going to a hospital and going through a meat processing factory kind of thing. So they were look.
Yeah, but again, that would be like to say, like, my great-grandfather died from a heart attack in like his 50s or 60s or something. That would be like, oh well, at least he died at home in his own bed. He died too young. But you get what I'm saying, is like that would be like an instance of being like, oh well, at least he died in bed. He didn't have to die in a hospital. But that's not the same if you're suffocating.
But they were both children of World War II. My mother was born in 42.
I am very spook magook.
She was a toddler. She told me she would follow funerals behind the horse and wagon. This is the kind of world she grew up in. My father was at age 12 in a communist concentration camp for 3 years. So they had very serious lives. Given the globe, the genocidal British geopolitics, as I call it, and so they were not.
Wow, let's think about that.
Given so they had at age. This is the kind of world she grew up in. My father was at age 12 in a communist concentration camp for 3 years.
Survived a communist concentration camp and ended up getting killed by your son. Really saw the whole world, everything, it becomes almost a full circle moment in the terms of being tortured by those who are so against you. Even though I guess communist concentration camp, it depends on where he was at. It could have been his own people. But then being killed by his own son. Interesting.
3 years. So they had very serious lives. Given the globe, the genocidal British geopolitics, as I call it, So they were not fooling around on things. They were serious people.
When you were doing this, did you think about the financial ramifications, the fact that you would continue to take their government money?
Once that happens, and what do you do? The government is pissed because I took the Social Security money and gave it to people who are starving in the Philippines. Okay.
That part was kind of crazy too. That aspect of it, he really does see himself as an altruist, and I think this is like the most interesting part. He sees everything he does as like being moralistic, and maybe even like he sees it as like utilitarian in some degree of like, my parents weren't benefiting anything to society, they weren't happy with their way of living anymore, so 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, 3 birds with 1 stone, because he killed both of his parents and then helped out these people in the Philippines. Crazy.
Then be angry about that. But anything, the police know all the money that I have went to people to help them. Thousands of dollars. I gave almost, not all of it away, because there was still a lot left.
What is up, ghouls, goblins, and pumpkin?
But I gave away, I didn't play with the money, I gave it away. I didn't enrich myself.
Does that justify what you did?
No, but this is not a kill for money case, is important to say. It's, I was helping people before that just fine, so it didn't, the issue of taking my parents' money for other purposes related to that doesn't fit. That's why the police, they had a theory going which we talked about on Tuesday, and they wanted to try to say that this was taking their money to give away to other people, but it was that the other part is the primary situation.
Someone called that blood money.
Right, and I was giving it away.
But it's still blood money.
Well, if you kill to take somebody's money away, that's blood money. But if what was I supposed to do with this money?
He completely describes what he did. Blood money is when you kill to take somebody's money away, but like, I killed them and just was getting their money. What am I supposed to do with it now?
Again,
He really said.
if what was I supposed to do with this money?
I need one more time. Oh my god. Just shrugging it off. Shrugging it off like, mm-mm.
Again, I couldn't tell anyone. The government needs to have an office where you can say, this is something that happened, and here's how it happens, and they need to deal with these kind of problems in an open way. Everything in this country is hidden away, and this is a societal crisis. Again, 40 million people are going to deal with this, and maybe a multiple of that given their friends and family. It's a reality of human experience. And I just wanted to say, in 2020, there was this YouTube channel called Tribe of the Fox, and they did a video called The Mannerbunde. And they explain how in the ancient times, they had men who would do this for the elderly, so they wouldn't have to suffer. And of course, the ancient Greeks always believed in dying on the battlefield rather than dying, in a bag of bones, like a bag of bones. Mm-hmm. So, culturally, America is totally different.
They didn't die on a battlefield, though. It sounds like they died in their beds with a pillow over their faces.
No, but you could put it that way.
It wasn't a battlefield.
Well,
to be fair, you did purposefully ignore the first part of what he said, which was that there were... I wasn't really paying attention either, because it's just, again, ramblings of a madman. Talking about other traditions in which younger people would be the ones whose purpose would be to put to death these older individuals so that they wouldn't have to suffer. Come on, man. Focus.
It's not, I mean, the preference of people, of the ancient Greeks, was to die on the battlefield rather than die so infirm that you had nothing.
Was it a pillow that you used?
No, no, no.
What did you use to suffocate them?
For my father, my hand. For my mother, a rope.
Oh, so
So
you
you-
didn't. Okay, so you did strangle both of them.
You strangled her?
Yeah, that would seem better.
It was strangulation, not suffocation?
Well, it's the same. No, denial of oxygen.
Okay.
Yeah, asphyxiation is what you're looking for.
But also blood circulation.
So you cut off the oxygen to both of them. That was your method.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that this has come to light and the police started investigating, and do you have any regrets?
This isn't an interview, it's a therapy session. Kind of. Well, I mean, to be fair, a good interview in this context would be a bit of a therapy session to try and uncover the inner machinations of his mind and the purposes of doing it, because you're not trying to create an investigation. The police are going to be able to do like the thorough investigation, but what you're trying to figure out is more of the why. Now, I feel like trying to figure out the what is going to be much harder coming from somebody who's clearly not fully mentally stable, but trying to get into the mindset of why he did it would probably help the police more, and help the public, because the whole thing is too, it's like everybody's going to denounce it regardless, but I think it might be better for him too, for people to understand what he actually means, so that it's not just like it's lost in translation. You guys just don't understand that I'm actually benefiting my parents. I was trying to find his actual message, like the actual letter itself. Oh, it's a lot of stuff about Trump. Oh no. Elon Musk's son was right. Trump is not the president. His military orders are illegal. Trump did prove that politics are negotiable. Everything runs on money, characters, corporations, and colleges. They will dance to Trump's tune for money. I would like to get Trump on the right track. First, he must be rehabilitated. Without that, his path of office is void. Or his oath of office is void. Sorry, I'm reading like a really small version of it. It's really low resolution. Interesting.
I did the right thing for them based on the situation. I did my duty to them as a son, and everything fell into place. I don't know how it happened that it all fell into place, but it did. And so no, I don't have.
Yeah, you're so right, Mooney. The government needs to have an office where you can go and tell them you killed your parents, so you stop getting their retirement checks. It would make everything so much easier. Yo, the people above me keep going out on their patio. I keep hearing it.
It's a horrible situation to be in. One does one's duty and one is done. The issue of regrets, I can't say this. It's a regrettable experience, a regrettable situation, and of course life is horrible. It has horrible moments in life, but that's that.
And I just want to make sure I have it correct, because I'm a journalist and facts are important. You used your a single hand to kill your father,
Right.
putting it over his nose, and you
Oh
choked him.
wow, that's pretty crazy. In both instances, he literally strangled both his parents.
Okay. And you did the same with your mother, but with a rope. You choked her with a
No,
rope.
no, just a rope.
Right, I'm sorry, but I meant you choked her with a rope, though, instead of your hand.
Right.
Okay. Are you on any medications today?
No. Well, no.
Nothing?
I'm wondering if he's supposed to be from that reaction. No. So he's not on any. Was he supposed to be on any? Okay, wait, I think I found it. Quick review as a PDF file. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. We'll read it at the end. I just wanted to have the full thing.
Nothing.
Is your mind clear and...
I'm just a little sleepy, but I'm trying to keep my eyes open, but that's okay.
Okay, but you have no mental disabilities that are affecting what you're saying here today?
Correct.
You're confident in what you said and clear of
Yeah.
mind as you
Yeah.
say all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would appreciate, I hope that you could put this on YouTube, the whole thing.
I'm sure we'll put this on. And are you ready to face the consequences now with the police and the authorities?
Yes, but I would like the American people to also read my statement so that everybody can have something to appeal to on this. I know my statement is you know, I'm not really concerned about the police or the courts or anything. There's something much bigger in life, and we have to deal with the big things in life.
Okay. But again, just to be certain, in 2017, you took your father's life.
Correct?
And then moments later, or a short time later, you took your mother's life on that same day.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. It was late at night, and it was like late evening on one day into early morning next.
Okay. So within hours of each other.
Right.
What did you do between the taking of your father's life and the taking of your mother's life?
I'm trying to remember, because there was,
Probably a lot of contemplation.
yeah, I don't remember.
Did you sit with your mother? Were the three of you together in one
Well,
room?
before they died, my father was here, my mother was here, and I told them what happened to me and my sister after she died. And my sister died in the house too, because when she died from the cancer. But she died in May of 1988.
Is this interview what ultimately cooked him? I don't know if he gave it to the police or if the police were already. It's to me, it sounds like the police were investigating him for the fraud aspect of using these different checks, and probably nobody had seen his parents. So they probably were investigating it.
And then
But we'll see.
in that fall was I was doing my 11th grade now then, and there was I had to do a paper in a big test, so I did an overnighter to do that test, and then tried to do a second overnighter to finish that paper or something, and I crawled into bed at like 2:45 in the morning, and sometime then after, I popped out of my body, and I started floating up to the ceiling. I saw the nooks and crannies, and
I am completely lost. I don't know what just happened. How did we get here? What just happened? What?
I know my statement is you know, I'm not really concerned about the police or the courts or anything. There's something much bigger in life, and we have to deal with the big things in life.
Okay. But again, just to be certain, in 2017, you took your father's life on that same of each other.
Right.
What did you do between the taking of your father's life and the taking of your mother's life?
I'm trying to remember, because there was yeah, I don't remember.
Did you sit with your mother? Were the three of you together in one
Well,
room?
before they died, my father was here, my mother was here, and I told them what happened to me and my sister after she died. And my sister died in the house too, because when she died from the cancer. But she died in May of 1988, and then in that fall was I was doing my 11th
I'm
grade.
just so confused by this.
That and then in died in May of 8 from the cancer.
So he's just going on a
11th grade,
tangent about his sister.
I had to do a paper in a big test, so I did an overnighter to do that test,
Okay.
and then tried to do a second overnighter to finish that paper or something, and I crawled into bed at like 2:45 in the morning, and sometime then after, I popped out of my body, and I started floating up to the ceiling. I saw the nooks and crannies, and I acknowledged that the nooks and crannies of the ceiling, and then the whole world disappeared, and I was in this big black void, and it was rushing by, and then I saw my sister in a doorway in profile, Anyhow, after that, it was like a near-death experience kind of thing. And so I told my parents about that experience.
That's not a near-death experience. It sounds like you like astral projection of some kind, or just a really crazy dream that you had after your sister's death.
And I told them, it's time, go find Rosa. My sister's name was Rosa. And so my father just died quickly, so quickly. And I told him, find Rosa. And that's that.
And then again, just take me through, after your mother died, how long was it before you buried them? Approximately.
Like 2 or 3 days, actually.
So your parents' deceased bodies were in your house with you for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And then you decided you had to do something to cover up your crimes, or to properly bury them and send them on their way?
Right. I mean, I needed to. Yeah. I mean, basically, I had to bury them somehow.
Was the burial to cover up your crime?
Yes.
You didn't want to be found out.
Right. Of course. I mean, what to do? So again, the thing to do just occurred to me. Oh, she can fit here and he can fit there, and then just do it. And it was done. And that's that.
Have you lived with fear of being found out all these years?
I struggle to do other things with my life to try to make something great out of it, because if that's what I know, that they would not want me to rot away to death in prison over this. And I have a duty to everyone to make the best out of my life, and in the end, do what's best for the people of Germany, really. I call it being a Vogue saver. It took me years to understand all
You
this.
say the people of
but
Germany?
Really. I call it being, in the end, do what's best for the people of Germany, really. I call it being a Vogue saver. It took me years to understand all this, but I learned a lot in the last eight years that I never knew before, and I learned, self-educated in so many ways. So I did not. The issue of being caught is, I was able to buy time to solve huge problems, and that's worth it in many ways. To the American people, to me, and to them, to their legacy, to their,
Do you think people are going to accept this rationale
They probably won't.
and feel for you?
What they need to feel is for their own parents. They're going to face the same problems, and they're going to have to find solutions ahead of time, or else they're going to end up like me. That's the reality.
Are you telling other people that when their parents start ailing, they should take their lives?
They have a duty to their parents to bring them comfort at the end of life when they believe they need to.
But again, just to be clear, you took both your parents' lives.
Yes.
He really just
And
wants
you
to nail
realize
that
you're
in.
probably going to face the criminal
He's like, yeah,
consequences.
so you
Oh,
killed
of
him,
course.
right?
I mean, you're probably going to be arrested and
Well-
charged. And
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're going to. It's a process. You have to go through the process. How it will come out at the end, I don't know. But to influence that process, I would beg the American people to read that.
I mean,
statement.
legitimately, you saw the frustration that it caused him when he asked him again, you're going to go to jail. He said before he doesn't care about that part. And you could maybe try and re-angle the questioning to implement that you might not care about the I guess we've already gone beyond that too, though, because you could try and turn it into a moralistic thing to say, well, if you don't care about the legal ramifications of this, do you feel like there's no moral weight to taking the lives of your parents when they didn't explicitly ask for this? You say that they asked for it implicitly. That means that they didn't give you any actual reasoning to do it. You just did it. And you're not even on the day of, he didn't ask him, you didn't get him to clarify if there was a reason that he chose that day specifically. I think that was the worst aspect of this interview, to be honest, is that he didn't ask him why he chose that day, or if there was a final pushing implicit action.
All right. Lawrence, thank you for being with us.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Thanking him now.
Thank you.
Don't shake his hand. Shows. Oh, yeah. He wanted to show that he's not wearing socks.
Guys? You good, Stone? I think we covered all the bases. Yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
Um,
Why did you write that manifesto?
what?
I'm calling it a manifesto. What would you call it?
A statement to the American people. Is that what I wrote? That's what you wrote down?
I wrote statement to the public, because you said that.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
think-
said that to me.
Right. Yeah. A statement to the public. What was the other option to call it?
Manifesto,
Not a manifesto.
just a statement to the public. It is a bit rambling, a bit hard to follow.
Right. That's why I say I need more conversations over this.
But do you think people are going to want to talk about this, or the fact that you
Absolutely.
took your parents' lives?
Right, they're going to talk about that. That's what they want to know.
Thanks. I appreciate the
It's just
compliment on my
reality.
haircut.
So, I mean,
I'm not going to keep it for long. It looks crazy when it's down.
it's a horrible situation to be in.
At least for the stream.
Many other people are going to face it.
But are other people going to take the same actions you took?
Probably not, because they don't have the same kind of sense of duty to their parents as I did. Duty is I owe it to you to do it, as opposed to right and wrong, the law, etc. These are different ways of being.
Wait,
And of course
that's
the
an
law-
even more, okay, that's even crazier. So he's saying it doesn't even matter if it's right or wrong. It's a duty as, like, placed as, like, who decided on that duty? What are you talking about? Because if it's not a moral duty and it's not a legal duty, what the fuck are you talking about? He just, like, completely, what?
To do it, as opposed to right and wrong, the law, etc. These are different ways of being. And of course, the law in this country does not allow for this way of being.
But are you truly confident that's what your parents wanted?
I know my parents are harsh in certain situations, and if my mother could see where she was going, she would never want that.
But you said they didn't expressly ask to be killed.
Right.
Are you sure you did what they wanted to be done?
I think that they would have increasingly would have wanted me to help them if their situation got any worse.
So that day in what you think was August of 2017, what made that day the day?
I think it was a colder evening, and the windows were closed.
So he finally asked that question all the way at the end of the interview. Again, this interviewer just did not understand how to, like, line up his questions properly. We're all over the place.
So it was not a. It was just no noise or something like that.
So you were safe from detection? Is that what
Right,
you're
of
saying?
course. Because it was a summer, right? It's usually hot and windows are open, but it was kind of cold that period.
So because it was a little chillier that night, you decided to take your parents' lives.
That note she gave
He's
me.
like ignoring the parts that the guy's saying, though. So it's because the windows were closed in case they screamed, so you were afraid that maybe they would make noise? How close were you to your neighbors? Do you think that your neighbors would have intervened in some way?
It was sometime in May or June, I think. When she said she fell, it was May or June or something like that. So this has been, my father already told me he has double vision. He had a hearing aid. He couldn't hear anymore. His eyes were going. He couldn't drive. My mother, I knew, was not using her turn signals properly. So they were losing their independence.
My mom doesn't use her turn signals properly now. Doesn't mean I'm going to put her down. She's my mom. She's not a dog. And dogs already can't use turn signals. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Even awareness of the world because of, breakdown.
Most people, I think I'm safe in saying, would not take their parents' life because they couldn't use their turn signals properly.
That's a very good point, but again, it's not just that. It's one marker of decline, and Again, she had a brother and a sister who were going through.
Again, another good question for this is, do you think that you are the person to be able to designate when that decline has reached a level that, you know, qualifies that person for you to kill them?
Alzheimer's. By then, one died, and her brother was going to die, and maybe 2 years later, and he was in a terrible situation. So, the other aunt of mine was I think even.
You do use your turn signals, but your driving's bad. Well, maybe as long as you stay within the lines for the most part, you'll probably be okay. Just don't let this guy notice.
In an even worse situation because of Alzheimer's. But I never visited her because women tend to want to be remembered for their beauty when they're young. So I didn't visit her for that reason, but I also never knew enough to visit where she was or anything like that.
But again, you feel like it was your role to, somebody.
He does not have that authority. Yeah, see, but that's a question I have is, does he think that he's somebody that would have the qualia to even have that authority? Does he think that the average person would be able to accurately discern when somebody has declined past the point of no return? Like you know what I mean? Because that's what that was the point he was making in the beginning is, the law doesn't allow for this type of thing, and that we should have outlines in the law for this. But do you really think that not just you, but everybody would have that ability to be able to, decide like, oh yeah, today's the day. Sorry, Pops.
Might call it playing God, deciding on their lives. It was fair for you to do that?
If the decision is going to be made, it's going to be a playing God decision. And truly, we lived through this COVID thing. Cuomo is there's probable cause to arrest Andrew Cuomo for thousands of deaths because it's on the record that he sent people into nursing homes for a certain reason, and there was reports that people died as a consequence. So that's probable cause. But
Andrew Cuomo did not put his hand around someone's neck.
But
Andrew Cuomo did not put a rope around someone's
right.
neck.
That he would be culpable of criminally negligent homicide. I think that's.
So what are you guilty of? Are you guilty of murder?
You could say age-related homicide or something like that, but it's not in the law. But it should be somehow.
Age-related homicide. What does that even? He's just speaking a bunch of nonsense. This is a bunch of hooey.
And maybe it will be, and maybe.
I think he just didn't want to deal with his parents' care needs and said, "Fuck it." Like, not even necessarily that they were declining to the point where it was necessary, but that it was just annoying. That kind of is the way that I'm feeling too. Is because the way he keeps saying like they said it implicitly, not explicitly, and stuff like that. It makes me feel like they were just saying stuff, and he was just like, "Oh, they just can't. They want to die. Like they just hate it here. They hate it here. Let me just help them out. They can't deal with it. Oh, fuck it. Why am I having to put up with it if they can't deal with it?" I am actually wondering though if this is the way that he acted cognitively before his murdering of his parents, or if that maybe has caused a mental decline, because he seems to be a bit off his rocker, and that's
if it's accepted at some point, because there's 40 million people, they'll want it to be accepted. This will blow over, and I'm willing to make restitution to the family. That's why I mentioned that other type of legal system. And
Lawrence, this is not going to blow over.
I know.
You killed your parents.
There is that situation, but to me it's not very important. It's politics is subject to change. Everything is negotiable. Donald Trump has proven that everything is negotiable in this country. And if you have a good idea and you can help people, you can get a better outcome.
Did you ever kill anyone else?
No way.
Did you ever commit physical harm to anyone else?
No.
This was it? Just
Right.
Your mother and your father?
Yep.
No one else in your family ever suffered at your hand?
No.
Okay, just wanted to check.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Lawrence.
Didn't they already thank him like he was gonna leave?
Lawrence, can I ask you a question? One of the neighbors told us on the scene that your parents were under the impression.
Yeah, it does appear like he's like almost getting off on the like the eyes on him, the I don't even know. Just being in the spotlight a little bit. I don't know. It's weird. Like the way he jumped at like the person asking a question. It's like he wants this to be like he wants to have like a bunch of like news reporters in front of him asking him a bunch of different questions so he can go, well, no, yes.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Lawrence, can I ask you a question? One of the neighbors told us on the scene that your parents were under the impression that you were going to take them on a trip. Did you tell them that you were going to take them on a trip before you killed them?
No, but I asked my mother if she wanted to go with me for a ride to Grafton Park. We'd like to go there.
I think they told people that they were possibly moving to Germany.
That's what I said.
You said that?
Yeah.
You said that to people, not your parents.
Right.
So that was your,
people
that was your,
ask me, where are my parents? I tell them, because my mother's from Germany, and my father was born in Yugoslavia, and then after they could escape communism, they went to Germany, and then my father came to this country.
You can see how flabbergasted he gets when the murder is directly mentioned. That's why I feel like the interviewer did a bad job at like, you got to kind of work around it a little bit. Oh, excuse me. But you got to kind of work around that. You got to work around the murder a little bit as an interviewer, and try and get him to again divulge as to the purpose as to why he did it and the necessity that he saw in their death.
And then my mother, in the 50s.
but there were neighbors who said that they had been told by your parents, oh, we think we're going to move to Germany.
Oh, my
Are they
ass.
mistaken?
I need to stand up for a
Are the
second.
neighbors remembering that incorrectly, or
I'm
could your
still
parents have said
listening.
that?
Still
They could have
watching.
said that.
Could they have known something was coming?
Possibly.
You ever give them the impression that maybe you would just move them somewhere?
No.
No, okay.
Oh, I'm gonna go for a long walk after this.
That's news to me, to be honest.
Okay, all right. I think we're done.
Okay.
Thank you, Lawrence.
I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for talking to us.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, if you can make that all available on YouTube, even on a private website for me, so that I can have it
Trust
on
me,
record.
it will be
Trust
available.
me, it'll be
I
out
appreciate
there.
it. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for all the blesses in chat. There's one more interview by him.
Thank you for seeing us again, Lawrence. Since you told
CBS 6 Albany just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. This is only coming through one of my headphones. I think I probably have it running through both channels on your end, but this is literally only coming through my left headphone.
me yesterday
Can
that
you guys
killed
hear
your
it out of both
parents,
channels?
you feel a sense of relief today about that?
Not any extra relief.
I was hoping
No,
we'd
no,
get
no.
a different interviewer, I'm not gonna lie.
The
I
world
gotta sit
knows
up
what
extra
happened now.
straight
That
for my
doesn't-
I mean,
coccyx sake.
that does help, I think. I'm glad that people know about my statement. That's important to me.
But I think people out there care about your parents and what happened to them.
Yes.
Can we just go through that again very quickly? That night that you decided to take their lives, did you know that day, the day before, when did you know that was the time to do this?
My father laid back and was ready. He knew. I just want to say a message that
I feel like he thought about it a bit more because that's not what he said at all. He said that he was surprised by his father's lack of struggle.
there's a legal defense type of thing, and then there's a political defense. And the most important law in this country is New York State ratification law, which says that the people have the power to reassume the powers of government whensoever it is necessary to their happiness. And one of my goals was to create a board of trustees for New York State. And to create that initial trustee, someone needs to know what to do. So I'm making the claim that I'm the initial trustee of the New York State Board of Trustees, and they would have prosecutorial immunity. And so I appeal to that as having
Thank you, Mooney. As long as you guys can hear it through both, then it's fine.
prosecutorial
But really, CBS 6 Albany, get your shit together.
immunity for this case.
It's pretty much a certainty that's not going to happen. You also talked about wanting to be tried under German law.
Well, ancient German law, yes.
Is that still something you're looking
That's not
for?
how that works.
I would ask for it. There's nothing wrong with asking. I mean, you never know if you'll get a yes. You can get a yes. And this country is unstable right now. You don't know what could break up. I do think the country should break up into pieces to make it better.
It's a terrible idea.
For everyone. Even the Washington Post suggested that.
Looking for more
The court
division
of
is a
public
fucking
opinion
terrible
seems
idea.
to say that they're not happy with what they heard from you yesterday, that they think it was a cold-blooded crime. Do you
These are
understand?
literally the exact tables that they had in my elementary school. Am I the only one? These are literally the exact model of tables that we used in my elementary and middle school.
And people thinking that way?
I'm glad you gave me that feedback. We all are getting old. We're all going to need help, and we're all going to have to decide how to deal with these kinds of problems.
So we should just die. Like, what is he talking about? This is such a terrible argument to make.
With 40 million boomers getting into that stage of life, they need their options open, and their families need their options open.
But who are you to decide, other than being their son? But is that decision up to you? Can you play God?
I don't want to say it, but that's so true. Benjamin Franklin really fell off. I didn't want to call it out. The bifocals are a little bit off. It's because they're the newer models. He's upgraded.
You can do your duty to your parents as they give you feedback, information, etc. And so it's really not a decision of God. It's it's a matter of what kind of lives are you trying to give your parents under grave circumstances that will be coming. If somebody falls and then ends up in the hospital, they're in like a machine that will just process them along, and you will have no way to recapture control, to get control of your own life again.
But they weren't in a hospital. They weren't hooked up to a machine.
Right.
Their lifeline was
But
you.
they could have been. You don't understand.
And you snuffed out their lives.
You have to understand that the end was coming, and the world starts to go. You have to decide when your time is up.
But did they decide or did you decide?
They were giving me hints to this effect.
And a hint's enough to go and decide to take a
I
life?
don't think so.
It was information like a plea that this is the beginning of the end for them.
What?
Well, it was the end for them because you made it the end for them.
Okay, I'll have to keep. I think
What can you tell us about your parents? What kind of people were they, your mother and your father?
my father was more. What my mother said: do whatever you want as long as you do good in school. And so I sort of measured myself as, is what I'm doing good for school or not? And usually that kept me on track to being doing good in school. And my father was not so much.
This reads like a really weird and off-putting episode of The Office. Yeah, the lighting, the angles and stuff. CBS 6 Albany really does not know what they're doing.
Sometimes he would say, "Oh, you don't have to take that test." Or,
Were you not as close with your father?
I was close with them in different ways, but I wouldn't say that I was not as close with my father. I always felt closer to my father, I think.
Why did you decide to kill your father first?
Yeah, I can't talk about that. I'll
My presumption would be that he would expect his father to fight back more than his mother. But, because that's also, I mean, that would lead, my theory, this is just a theory, just a murder theory, is that he killed his mother was the one making more of these implicit signals to him or whatever, and he thought that killing his father would make more sense first, since his father couldn't be alive to see his mother dead. So if she wanted to go, then he had to go too, and to do it to him first would reduce the chance of him having to see her have passed. And by reducing it, I mean it takes it to 0, but crazy. Again, that's just a murder theory. Thanks for watching.
That advice with the lawyer.
After you took their lives, it's been 8 years. What have you been doing in those 8 years?
Trying to
Bro should have stuck to light. He should have stuck to kites and keys.
make good on their lives by trying to, I tried to start a vote saver philosophy, which never existed before. And I think it's very important to civilization to try to start a new civilization, to recultivate the German people, because after World War II, they were totally wiped out culturally by the United States. Everything was destroyed, and then they were basically Americanized. But I understood that the essence of German culture is folk teleology, which is a philosophical term.
Don't you think your parents might have rather...
Acting like there is a singular Germanic culture or German culture when Germany was formed off of the different Germanic tribes at the time that had fought and basically hated each other for a long time, but then formed because of the militarization of different powers around the world, and the reduction of I forget which one was the one that took the most power. That was like the leading. The Germany. I learned about all this when I was learning about World War II. I decided to look up into Germany a little bit. The German Empire established in 1871. Yeah, from the unification of Germany. Why can't I see all of them? No. This is gonna get too long in looking into this. Oh, it's talking about the Romanization of the Germanic peoples. Didn't he admit he left his mom alive with his dad dead body for hours too? And she was just crying over his corpse like, how can you say she wanted that, Benjamin?
Continued to live as opposed to you helping German culture?
My parents always believed in doing their duty. My mother always said, I do this out of duty to you. It's not as concerned with love and life as you might think it is.
Was it a loving relationship you had with your parents?
Not in a loving, I wouldn't characterize it as loving the way you might say it in America. It was harsh.
It was harsh.
Oh yeah, as a kid, it was very harsh.
So was any of the decision to take their lives in retribution for that? No. That the fact that you had a harsh upbringing?
Well, that's almost interesting because I wouldn't even characterize it as that. To me, it almost seems like this skewed perception of reality based on this like lack of paternal and maternal like love or care that was given.
No.
Bro said duty.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. All right, thank you.
You're done.
In retribution for that? No. That the fact that you had a harsh upbringing?
No. We're done. Okay. Sorry.
It's weird. Who stopped this? Why'd they stop the interview?
All right, thank you.
Did they make him cut the rest of this? Interesting. But now I just quickly want to read his statement. A little crazy. This whole thing is very insane. So let's see what his actual statement to the people is. Let's see. To everyone who is suffering in this world, Arnold Schwarzenegger teaches that we should make yourself useful. I am open to talking with all YouTubers that I can, since they can present conversations over sound bites. Oh, let's go. Let's interview him. I'll interview this guy. I invented a brain saver medical device concept while at RPI, it is designed to oxygenate the brain in case of drowning or smoke inhalation. I won a $1,000 entrepreneurship prize for it. President Shirley Ann Jackson was fond of noting it in her many speeches. I solved the problem of universals. Philosophers will know what that means. I invented a private cash device called Pinobo, managed by Pinda Technology Inc., pinda.ph. It is a cash solution to the danger of central bank digital currencies. Everyone has a stake in this and more. The most important law in America is NYS ratification law. Is New York State ratification law, 1788. It teaches that the people may reassume the powers of government whenever it's necessary to their happiness. 1. Our happiness is the law. 2. The law is what is best for the community. 3. It is best for the community to have our government in the hands of. Is it best for the community to have our government in the hands of domestic enemies? No. The third point was a question, and the answer is no, I'm guessing. This is why we need a board of trustees to assure self-government, the law, and quality of life. With this law, we can have a regular constitutional change with after-the-fact public support, and as Jefferson taught. On the basis of this law, I declare the creation of the Board of Trustees for New York and one for the federal government. I am the initial trustee of both. I must note that a domestic enemy is an oath-bound officer or official who betrays our sovereignty to the British and their colony Israel. All Zionist politicians are domestic enemies. By this, we attain a national repudiation of Zionism, which the public desperately needs to increasingly wants. We need a board of trustees to save the country and restore our sovereignty. Rhodes Scholars are domestic enemies. Kathleen Hochul aided and abetted an enemy into high office Rhodes Scholar Delgado. This makes the government a domestic enemy. Her privilege to hold office is void, as one of the senators who approved this nomination, as is that of Letitia James. I don't know why Donald Trump can't say that. He could have gotten out of his problems a long time ago, but he wants attention. Unfortunately, Donald Trump said it sounds good for the U.S. to fall under the British Empire. Is he trained in any of this, or just making doodles in jail? I don't know. So this was made before he got arrested or anything. This is his statement to the American people. Lawyer said cut the cameras. That probably is what it was. It probably was literally his lawyer. But yes, that was the first part. Let's continue. By this, Donald Trump repudiated his oath of office by repudiating our form of government, our Constitution, and our sovereignty. Repudiation is resignation. Elon Musk's son was right. Trump is not the president. His military orders are illegal. Trump did prove that politics is negotiable. Everything runs on money. Churches, corporations, and colleges, they will dance to Trump's tune for money. I would like to get Trump on the right track. First, he must be rehabilitated. Without that, his oath of office is void. Justice Roberts is a domestic enemy for giving the oath to Trump, knowing that he was found to be a domestic enemy in Colorado courts. Domestic enemy budgets are illegal budgets, and the bonds produced are illegal bonds, poison bonds. This violates securities laws for all who trade U.S. debt. This is why you need a board of trustees to clean up this crisis. The board of trustees shall have prosecutorial immunity. Having prosecutorial immunity for any positions of power just seems like you kind of added redundancy to this whole like thing that's supposed to like act in like, it's very loose, and this is clearly just the ramblings of a madman, but it seems like he's talking about some kind of like checks and balances to the checks and balances almost, but making them have prosecutorial immunity is kind of crazy. In return, I will answer all questions in this police matter. I would like to thank the investigators for their patience and abilities. When the public is in favor of a board of trustees for the right reason of protecting our sovereignty, the board of trustees will pay everyone in support $4,000. I am making myself useful to you for the right reasons. As long as I am innocent until proven guilty, I am fit for this office. Oh, that's why he doesn't want to talk about any of this. If the public does not want the Board of Trustees, I would like to be prosecuted under German law. Wargild law. Blacks would get a better deal under this kind of law than British law. Muslims and Jews have their special cutouts. I recoil at the thought of being prosecuted by a German-hating regime by a German-hating judge. My true peers are family friends, fellow Volkssavers, and good Germans who understand the concept of doing one's duty, and those who have experience with Wargild law. This might require a special law to accept, but we don't have a governor or state legislature to pass it. Every elected official has a duty to object to Rhodes scholars and Zionists in government. America needs a board of trustees, and I know what to do. This is why I am the initial trustee. I have paintings to sell to support the families I support in the Philippines. Each painting is $454,000. I agree to profit by nothing except minimal living expenses. Because please care for Annalona, Arnes, and our Pinda.ph and Panobo.biz team. They can expect high-interest loans repaid in Pinobo. You will find her on Facebook, and then give a Gmail and a phone number. What a guy! Absolutely insane individual. Huh. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to show. This was just a cool little channel that I found. This is from a couple months ago. The channel only has 150,000 subscribers. Some of their videos are a little more popular than others, but cool little things. I didn't expect this one to be a song. Let's see this one instead.
Stop dying. Stop dying. Stop dying. Stop dying. Oh my god, it worked. Hey, here's the deal. Claire here's got control of the team.
I'm sorry if I kind of just brushed it off. That video, I mean, after reading what his statement was, I was expecting a bit more of like some substance, not necessarily talking about the murder itself, but something that had to do with MAID or with voluntary euthanasia or something like that. But to hear that like he's literally just trying to save face in hopes to possibly get some type of win some type of a election or be put into some position of power or something is actually just insane dude. Sorry, I don't mean to just move on so quickly, but I am going to finish off after this video. Was a bit of a quick stream. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to watch this real quick, and then this is Pleasantries.
But don't worry, it'll be your turn soon.
She doesn't have much time left.
In fact.
Hey! You dead yet? No. Should be any minute now.
Oh, they're all music. I have to say, I've only watched the first couple minutes of these. Is this a band? I literally found this earlier. Is this a band? Maybe this is a band. Oh, they are a band. Okay. Well, these are really cool music videos then. Go check them out. I won't be watching these because I don't want to get a copyright claim for watching these. Is there anyone that's like a couple seconds so I know for sure that it's not a song? Hear this.
I'm a nice guy.
Or these ones probably aren't.
I must admit, just stay out of my shed. If you go in my shed, you will regret it. Stay out of my shed, or I'll cut off your head.
It's great stuff. But yeah, the pleasantries. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate everybody that stopped in. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you liked the haircut, let me know. I'm going to shave it all off. We're going bald. Dan or Hutch for Monday? Which one? Who will I be? Dan or Hutch? Find out next time.
I'll cut